Wait, just making sure for sure. You definitely can hear that.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about that?
Well, now it's down to Richie to be like, don't play any of that on my fucking podcast, all right?
No, I won't. I promise.
It's
Nah.
it's in
stop.
these just before the show starts moments that I think about all the people who do a Doctor Who podcast but completely joyless. And it's just this
Very serious.
weekly
Yeah.
route thing where it's like, okay, guys,
Okay, you all got your notes.
all ready to get started.
Take it you've all written your notes up and shared them in the drive.
Shouldn't be too long one this week, folks. I think, but there are a couple of things towards the end I just want to
Bit of housekeeping.
Bit of housekeeping before we get going. But we can.
And you've watched all 15 episodes, yeah?
We've watched all 15 episodes, and
Fortunately, 15 episodes.
Welcome back to Weekly Who.
It's right though. Before we
who have
start
got this week.
Before we start
What
recording,
will we be
these
talking about
podcasts,
today?
I think about just all the people who give their lives for this country and like, put their lives on the line every damn day.
That is gas.
That's the one.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, the podcast that asks, is Doctor Who actually any good? So today we have everyone's favourite crew, everyone's favourite TARDIS team. We have... Stop laughing at me!
On drums.
Roger Taylor. So joining us once again, we have Sean Cunningham.
I'm glad to be part of the TARDIS team. I'm part of the TARDIS team.
You are.
Yeah.
Owen O'Donnell.
Hello, can we get TARDIS team denim jackets
Absolutely.
in blue TARDIS?
Or
TARDIS
puffer
blue.
jackets.
And TARDIS
Big puffer
blue.
jackets. And Gavin Spence.
Hello, Richie, and everyone out there in the Whoverse.
How have you all been since our last recording? How do you feel? How have you felt about Doctor Who since... What was the last episode we watched? The Mind Robber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
The one with the toy soldiers.
Oh yeah. Was Mind Robber. We all really enjoyed that one.
Watched quite a lot of Who since then, though. I've been sticking on the odd episode on iPlayer. I watched that updated version of... Remember that episode that put out like a month ago that had all the updated special effects or whatever? What do you call that one?
Oh, Pyramids of Mars. When they
Pyramids of Mars.
Edited it down.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Toby has good comedic timing.
Yeah.
We have Gavin's lovely dog.
Also on the
is,
TARDIS team.
is also on the
K9
TARDIS
is
team.
friend.
K9's here.
Yep. Toby has a squeaky dog toy, and Richie's not happy that he's got his favourite toy. So I might go and take it off him. Take my dog's favourite toy away from
Well,
him.
that's 2 strikes. Let's see what the third one...
If the third strike, he gets booted down the stairs or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richie's going to just replace his squeaky toy with a big Acme stick of
Dynamite.
dynamite.
No, I'm sure that'll be the last time he does it.
I'm sure it will.
On the third
It's just
week.
we need to... Oh my God, I got an actual fright there.
Yeah, that was good.
We should
Richie.
warn you that Sean's got himself a new soundboard.
Yeah.
So
true.
that's going to be taking us by surprise every so often.
Do you
Don't
think
worry about
that you dislike guns as much as the Doctor dislikes guns, Richie?
I'm not a fan of them. Who likes guns?
Um,
I mean, there's that's
A
part of the
few-
problem is there's a lot of people that really like guns.
Yeah.
Rambo.
Rambo
if you
loves
like
a gun.
guns, please send an email to Richie at gmail.com.
Everybody tag the subject line, I like guns.
I like guns. I hate Doctor Who, but I love
guns.
guns.
I hate to think that the
There are a lot of
TARDIS
gun
team
nuts
is
would-
unarmed.
A lot of right-wing gun nuts would tune into this podcast because they think it's a anti-World Health Organization.
I hate doctors, and then it's like I hate doctors. Who? Like, who's a doctor?
That works as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if it's been since we did Mind Robber, but getting the text from Gav one day that he was watching Trial of a Time Lord, I wouldn't even choose to do that. Really.
Well, this is the thing. The good thing about not being inside this fucking wee echo chamber that all the Doctor Who fans are in. Mm-hmm. Oh, this one's rubbish. Oh, never watched that. Oh, I've not watched it. It's meant to be crap. You think all this stuff you miss out on. Trial of a Time Lord was fucking rubbish, right? But there's plenty of bits in it where I was like, that's quite good. That's quite funny. I'm enjoying it. And you miss out on so much of that if you just be a massive, and please, I don't like to be crass, huge snob about it. So that's all I'm saying to the Doctor Who fans out there in the Whoverse. Just watch the ones that you've never watched because they're supposed to be rubbish, and I bet you'll enjoy some of it.
Richie, when Gavin told you he was watching Trials of a Time Lord, did you check the I Hate Doctor Who feed to see if he'd put out a new episode?
No.
It's like, if he's watching that, he's probably roped Owen and Phil into watching as well. And
when was the last time you looked at the feed?
They're in the booth right now. Yet there could be dozens of episodes.
Richie, earlier this, actually, was it this year? I guess it was last year. Christmas at my house, we watched an episode of Doctor Who, a new one.
Yeah,
brand new episode of Doctor Who.
We all watched the brand new Christmas Doctor Who together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that one had, I don't want to get too deep into today's episode yet, but that one had the toy
maker.
Fiddler. Toy maker?
The toy fiddler, yeah.
The toy fiddler.
The toy fiddler.
Yeah.
But while we were watching it, you were talking about like, oh, there's all this speculation about this guy being the master, and you kept talking.
And we were all like, shh.
And something about the bad master, and that this guy could be the bad master, but they haven't actually said if he's the bad master or not. So I was just wondering this whole time. I keep hearing talk about the bad master, so I was really excited to actually watch an episode with the bad master, so I can finally find out what all the fuss is about. Because all I knew really about the bad master was that he could control people's mind, and he puts little goblins in people's cars, because that's the kind of,
that's the kind of thing he does. Shrinks a guy down, puts him in a lunchbox, that kind of thing.
We're jumping ahead a bit, but honestly, start episode 1, when that blue van appeared at the circus, my first thought was, it's the bad master.
That's probably the bad master.
See, that's the issue for me.
That's the bad master's van.
Like, I didn't know this because I've seen a good few episodes of Doctor Who with the Master in it, but I did not know that this was the original, and this was the original appearance of the Bad Master.
Yeah.
So, which is very strange because I don't think it plays like that.
And the way, if you haven't seen Star Wars, if you've never watched Star Wars, there's no way you're not going to just know, by just absorbing it, that Darth Vader wears a black helmet and he can lift you up with his mind powers, whatever. Yeah. So everyone knows that the Bad Master, even if you haven't seen Doctor Who, that he can control people's minds and puts little men in your car when you're not looking.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to find out just what else he does.
Right. So, okay. Find out more about the Bad Master. So
I feel like Sean has burned through his OneNote.
What was funny, I do want to briefly talk about us watching the 60th anniversary, because it was really funny because we all sat in a room and watched it together, because me and Gab were visiting Owen and Sean in Ireland, and because I'm a big fucking baby, I had to see it live, otherwise I'd get
getting changed,
getting spoiled.
You were acting very spoiled that day.
When he does this split into the new Doctor and David Tennant survives, you could feel this fucking energy coming from the corner of the room from Owen's chair. The biggest. Oh, fuck off, man!
Like he properly went in a huff.
The rage! It was like
I thought
it was honestly it was heat in the room.
I thought I was keeping it together pretty well because I didn't want to ruin your fun at Christmas, but I did think it was shite.
No, I think that the thing that I liked most about it was the run up to it, because every so often it was like a mix of kind of being dead excited, ironically about it, but also being like, I'm excited for Richie because it's his big Doctor Who thing. So like every so often you'd be like, only 5 hours till Doctor Who, and Richie'd be like, I know, shut up. I know.
It's like
Anyway,
me when the Queen's speech is coming on.
It's like, in lieu of the Queen's speech, this is what we get.
Yeah.
And at the end of the Queen's speech, she divided into the next Queen.
It should have
Then
done
you-
like, instead of the 2 Tardai, it should have been like her carriage, her gold carriage. Bang! Double the gold carriage, and then give 1 back to Ireland because that was our gold.
So coming up on the show,
so
but then if the Queen did split into 2, and like Doctor Who did, we'd have to put up with the old Queen for the rest of fucking time as well. We're not getting rid of the old Queen.
You're guaranteed crossovers forever then.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can do the speech, and then the new Queen can just.
I
Do all
thought,
the work.
Richie, when you brought up watching Doctor Who in Ireland, you were going to talk about how difficult that was, like having to get clothes hangers bent into the right position and everything.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is, your listeners probably don't know, because this podcast is also blocked in Ireland, but you can't
Rightly
watch
so.
Doctor Who in Ireland. You can't, not even on Disney Plus, not on the BBC iPlayer. You cannot watch Doctor Who in Ireland. And if you try to ship the Blu-rays in, well,
controlled explosions.
Yeah.
sometimes
I'd
not
have to
even
pay
that
a
well
fine.
controlled. Just like, as long as they don't make it, they don't really care. But yeah, I thought the giggle was next to unbearable.
That's fair. Honestly,
I hate Doctor Who.
I was just about to look up how you say Doctor Who in Irish to say, oh, over there it's called this, but then I got the thing and went, I can't say that. I don't know what they're talking about.
I need to check that.
Was there a fodder?
Fuck knows, man. I don't know what they were trying to say.
So we've been on a little. I'm sure you've noticed the pattern, but we've been on a little journey so far. I started with the first Doctor. What's funny is I started with the first Doctor, and you thought that's the Master. We started with the Mind Robber, not the Mind Robber, the Time Meddler. I don't know why I came back something. You're like,
Time
that'll be
Fiddler.
the Master. And then there was a reference to a Master in the Mind Robber, which is the second Doctor story we did. It wasn't the Master. And so I thought, now we're moving on to the third Doctor. I decided to go for Terror
The Bad
of
Master.
the Autons.
Go for the
Bad Master.
finally get the bad master.
Finally get to the Bad Master.
So are we going to maybe watch a 4th Doctor episode with the Master?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, eh?
Is the bad master like the War Doctor?
I love
like Dr.
that he was
Kintober.
already thinking about cutting all the Bad Master stuff, and we're just making it impossible.
You
worst
like
thing about
Dr. Kintober, though. That's it's kind of the same thing.
He was a bad egg.
October. That's why I guess I've only ever seen his name in print, so I always called him Kintobor.
See,
Oh,
because
sorry.
listening to Sonic the Comic, the podcast, I also say Kintobor, but now I'm kind of on Sean's side.
See, I only
Kintober.
read
Kintober
Sonic the
sounds
Comic.
good.
I don't talk about it.
I just get the audiobook.
That's a good idea.
If only, yeah.
We're not delving into. This is the farthest corner of the audience of this podcast. Where the fuck was it? Yes. The funny thing about you asking me about stuff that I know you're messing is like I don't know how to respond to it, because I'm like I'm not gonna dignify it with an answer.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
But
Just trying to have a laugh, mate.
That's a great attitude to bring to a podcast. It's like, I'm not saying anything.
I'm keeping stum.
I'm just going to sit here with my arms folded until you're quite done.
I think that's the old thing about improv, isn't it? Don't give them the satisfaction.
If a bit's not working, just sit down again.
Yeah.
Fuck. Richie, what are we watching?
What episode of Doctor Who?
So I decided to give you. I thought about it quite a lot, and I decided to give you Terror of the Autons.
What is a Nestine?
A Nestine is a ruthlessly aggressive, intelligent alien life form. The Nestines can put life into anything made of plastic.
I came to warn you. An old acquaintance has arrived on this planet.
Who the heck are you?
I am usually referred to as the Master. Death is always more frightening when it strikes invisibly.
A wave of sudden deaths all over the home counties. Cause? Asphyxiation, heart failure, shock.
Doctor, Miss Grant, get down, man.
Excuse me, officer, could I see your warrant card?
Get out there, all of you. Keep those shoulders back. Bullets can't stop them. Time has come for our final move. They're Autons.
Which isn't necessarily the best representation of the Third Doctor, but I thought it was mental enough. It's a pretty mental story, and I thought it'd be fun for the four of us to share that. But also, it's some good lore episode, as it is the first episode with the Master. So, now hold on. I'm think about this. Yeah. Owen and Gav have done a few Third Doctors now. Owen's definitely done a couple of Third Doctor episodes. I think this might be Sean's first one.
I think so far I've just done 1, 2, 3 now, like one of each. Right?
Oh
What
yeah,
was last?
okay. Oh yeah, we did Horrifying Rock, and then we did one first and a second.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The weakest one, Doctor-wise. Nothing to him, this guy.
Perhaps.
No personality. Yeah.
Sorry,
Stupid
hold
coat.
on.
Stupid coat, stupid guy.
Yeah. But you know what? He is
That's
singing the song from Fallout
that's
at the
actually
start.
just thrown me right off there.
I disagree, but it is in the spirit of the show. So he hates Doctor Who. Let's go with it.
It's true. Like when they
I'm
started with the Fallout song, I thought Sean will love that, man. He loves gaming and
He's a big gamer. Sorry, Sean. I was going to ask you what was your first impressions of this Doctor Who?
No, I like that he sang the song from Fallout. I think so far we had Fallout at the start, and the second episode I watched, which was the one with the toy soldiers and stuff. There was good breakfast stuff in that one, and the first one.
We've had loads of. We had our cooked breakfast in the first one, our
Yeah.
scrambled eggs in the second one, and now we got a reference to a bad breakfast in this one.
Well,
yes.
I mean,
That's true.
when you're dealing with this guy, when the bad master's around, you're bound to get a bad breakfast, you know?
Yeah, sorry, Sean.
He just, he's fine. Just seemed like a Doctor Who character. I don't know. Had a coat, had some hair.
Seems
I
sound
just
enough.
I seemed to like the first two because they were like big silly billies, especially the second one. And this guy just seemed like a bit of a brat.
He's quite serious, isn't he? He's quite grumpy.
Yeah,
Um,
serious but also childish. He's like, I like being childish. Remember the bit where he's like, I like
yeah.
being childish.
Yeah.
What's wrong with being childish? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the deal with this one, Sean. I suppose I should maybe explain these things before I make you watch them. He has been
Doctor Who changes when he dies.
So
That's the same guy.
At the end of the second Doctor's run, he is forced to go back to his home planet, and the Time Lords put him on trial, and then they tell him, "You're going to be exiled to Earth. We're going to force you to regenerate. You're going to be exiled to Earth, and you can't leave. So you're stuck in one time period. You're stuck in one place." And that's what the kind of
that's why he's just in a military base.
So that's why he's just got a job. He's a scientific advisor for this military group, and he drives a car, and his TARDIS doesn't work. So that's kind of why he's grumpy as well.
I like him now.
It does sound like when you say it like that, it sounds like the fucking wrecked the show, doesn't it? Like time and space, going to different dimensions and stuff, and go, I know he's just going to be in the English countryside, and he's got a job.
I'm sure we'll get to it, but like, yeah, that explanation does help a little bit. But when we went to the first one being like an alien in a lighthouse, actually, no, that one was a bit weird. That was a bit low key. The second one, though, you're in like another dimension with, you know, Mad Alice in Wonderland stuff, and then this one just ends with chasing a man driving a bus.
Wouldn't you like if they just kept going down that path where every subsequent season was more and more like, well, he's just working in an office now. He's lost the sonic screwdriver. He doesn't have the mad car anymore. Like, by now, it's basically The Office, and
it's just,
but not as funny. But what could be as funny as The Office?
Well, this is it. Well, this is it. You know,
this is so true.
Good jokes in The Office.
So,
well, I thought it was really like that's what it's like being in an office, though. Do you know?
Do you know the best thing about The Office?
some of the people you get in the office, like, oh man, do you know?
Just
stealing your mug.
Just be a bit of a madhouse. Oh, anyway,
Richie, this one starts with a circus. There's a circus at the start of this.
Yeah,
real value for money, because right off the bat, you've got actual elephants on screen.
Yep.
And in the same shot, you got lions in a cage. And I mean, you know that this season we're not going into space, so that's got to be a big thrill.
It's January 1971. We're sitting down to watch some Doctor Who.
Are you going to go through it? Like, are you going to do like an episode recap?
Well,
kind of thing?
yeah, I mean, kind of, but like, I'm not going to recap the episodes. We're just going to chat about it as we go, like we normally do. So we start at the circus. We do start at the circus, and immediately my first thought is, there's some good old fashioned animal cruelty.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be discussed or dealt with because it was just normal. So that's just a look back.
Yeah, frankly, it was encouraged.
But that's okay because the circus people are working with the bad master. So if it was Doctor Who that was there, it would have been.
Yeah,
that's true. Well,
be
no,
treated
you're right.
with dignity.
Yeah.
They purposely mistreated them a bit more to set up that these are the villains.
Yeah,
and to show how you shouldn't treat animals poorly. They made a sacrifice.
My first note was, isn't it mad that there was no Simpsons when people saw this? Do you ever watch something old and think, God, no one who watched this or made this ever saw or heard of The Simpsons? That just
could even see The Simpsons coming.
No one saw The Simpsons coming. I think of it quite a lot when I maybe watch one of Owen's old videos or something like Richie or Sean has been in before I knew them and was friends with them, and I often think that's a shame for them.
Yeah,
I was like, that's shite for them because they don't know me.
That's not knowing The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
At that point in my life, you were just a guy who ignored me on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Not that you're better about that.
I'm kidding. I mean, that did happen, but I am kidding.
Did it really happen? I have no knowledge of this.
I used to tweet you, and you just wouldn't.
He's going right back into it now.
If that's true, that's horrible. Sorry about that.
Well, you used to just be like,
Gav,
hello.
it's Twitter. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
No. It clearly has
get it
had
out,
an
let's
effect
get it
on you.
Every other week, Richie was like, Gavin, do you want to be on my Doctor Who podcast? Nothing.
No. Fuck off.
He would just like the tweet and not reply.
Now, Sean, let's not give away all the secrets.
I am usually referred to as the Master.
Oh, is that so?
Universally.
Well, I am Luigi Rossini, internationally, and conjurers I don't need, okay?
Unfortunately, I need you, Lew Russell.
What did you call me?
Lew Russell. It happens to be your real name.
Now, listen, mister. Get off my pitch while you're still safe.
You insolent primitive.
Oh, so you want it the hard way, do you? Right.
What's exciting? TARDIS doing its disguising thing. Turns up disguised as a truck.
Yeah.
No, it's a horse
All
box.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Does
that's
the
a
disguised
TARDIS.
TARDIS always... Is it always blue, or is that just a little fun? No.
Oh, I think that may just be a little fun nod. I didn't even
Could
think
it be
of
good
really.
if a blue lion showed up in the cage? Like, shh.
And the master a blue line, and he just steps out of it.
Yeah, the lion roars and he steps out down the tongue as stairs.
Or a blue elephant, and then the bad master could emerge very much like Feeder do in the video for that song.
If you know your scripture.
Yeah.
I promise you one person knows what I'm talking about. Lemon, lemon.
This episode's going so badly, man.
I know.
Fucking hell.
So, and then we get Roger Delgado as the master. He emerges.
Absolutely
He's got
incredible.
he's got good music and good sound effects whenever he shows up.
Like I loved the Bad Master's face. A proper like effortless sneer that you get from like Vincent Price or something. Just that classic horror actor looking face.
And he makes the Capcom noise whenever he walks on. He does that every time. She's not think to say it was like that, but like just all shy sounding because it's from old.
Because that's why when you get I think it was special champion edition, if you highlight Ryu and press up and start, you could go the Bad Master.
Speaking of a bad sound, when we have the scene in the big satellite dish tower,
Oh yeah,
don't you love the scientists are exchanging dialogue, but one of them, like, there's a button that they hold down that makes an awful like metallic din,
So
and he just like keeps holding it down while speaking. It's just
so I was watching.
It's impossible to tell what either of them are saying. For the whole
I was
scene.
watching this on my phone in the kitchen. And Sinead was in the living room, and about 4 times during these episodes, she asked, "Like, is something wrong?
Is a fire alarm going off?"
She definitely, she thought something, like she thought there was an appliance in the kitchen that was going like or whatever. Because this episode
are
more
you,
than the
are
other
you
two.
playing Street Fighter 2 in there?
You constantly restarting Street Fighter in there?
It had that nice noise, but yeah, that metallic one was I had to like turn down the volume and be like,
There were a few things in the episode. I think it's just a thing with Doctor Who in general or just TV from that era. But like I had to put the subtitles on to see at one point like the Doctor calls Josephine like a ham-fisted bun vendor.
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I was so sure he said something that you really can't say. And I was like, holy shit, like there's no way he got away with that back in the 70s. And I was like looking it up and like, okay, he said ham-fisted bun vendor. Okay, that's still a bit much.
It's just weird. It's just weird.
odd. I know.
It's odd. And
He's a real piece of work. I've got in my notes. If he talked to me like that, I'd tell him to shove his TARDIS up his arse.
Speaking of that, I've got a note here, but I can't remember what they said. Scientist complains about hard-boiled eggs.
Yes, that's my favourite thing of the episode.
A lot of egg talk.
I
Right at
loved
the
that
top.
Scientist was talking about how he was bored of eggs in his lunch.
Oh yeah,
And I hope, like, his name is Googe, which is also funny.
yeah.
But this is what I wondered why they were going so hard on this, and it turned out that during when this filming was getting done, the BBC were getting pressure from the government to do more public announcement stuff, and this was about the dangers of egg boredom. And so they tried to try and mix it into the episodes so people would understand that egg boredom is a real thing; it can have real effects on people. So I thought that was nice they were doing something extra.
Is that like when at the end of EastEnders when it's like if you've been affected by any of the issues? Yeah.
Don't
Richie,
feed your
have
husband
you-
too many eggs.
Have you ever, I'm sure people in the Doctor Who fandom do this, but have you ever gone and looked at the original scripts with like stage direction and stuff like that?
I haven't.
Because
But the Blu-rays have like loads of PDFs and.
I looked at the script for that scene,
Oh, right,
because I was watching the file as like I didn't have subtitles, so I brought up the script, and the actual script direction is like two scientists named Gooch complain about eggs over the sound of electronic drum, and then it like kind of written in pen on the side is like, this goes on for 5 minutes.
I think they nailed it in that case.
It was an improv thing, yeah.
Just says vamp for 5 minutes.
Yeah, vamp about eggs. Do some egg vamp.
Guys opening the lunchbox. What am I going to talk about for 5 minutes? Right, there's an egg in here.
Eggs.
A wax egg. Industry standard.
Is it? Yeah. Imagine the prop eggs as well. So he's having to off camera pull them back out his mouth.
As well, because you know that the prop eggs would definitely have been put into actors' mouths so they can kind of half spit them out and make people laugh.
Yeah.
So we don't know what those scientists were talking about. We never will. But it doesn't matter. But what I do have to ask you about is a man appears, a sort of magic man, and floats towards Pertwee and says things and then floats away again.
Oh, yeah.
What was going on?
That was a Time Lord.
No.
No, not having it. Like when I was watching it, I'm going, this is too far.
This can't be happening.
Did you not enjoy that?
This is too much. Who's this little fucking guy? Like,
it did seem kind of like, this is the sort of rubbish I'm worried about happening when watching any old British television.
Did you not enjoy
someone's
that?
just going to go, like, they'll literally go pop, and someone will pop, and they'll say something, and you don't know what they're talking about, and then they'll float away going, and you go, oh.
It just
I
makes
wish
me
someone
think,
would invent The Simpsons.
if someone can just fucking pop out of thin air, tiny, and then waddle on down and grow to full size and then bugger off again, I'm like, that means anything can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, people give Murdoch a lot of stick, but thank God he invented Sky Television.
They're Time Lords. They can do all sorts. That was probably some kind of projection or something. I don't know why I'm defending it.
What actually happens in that scene? What information?
A Time Lord turns up and explains to the Doctor, the Master.
Do you like eggs?
The Master.
Bad.
It's a stab, like, because this is the first time we've seen the Master, right? So he's turning up to say to him, "Your old pal's here. Your old pal, the Master. He's here." And
the Doctor goes, "Whatever," and he says, "No, the bad Master." He's like, "What?"
I like that he calls him a jackanapes.
Oh, I mean, that's exactly the kind of shite you just. Somebody invent Sky TV and put American shows on quick.
Yeah. I want to watch Beverly Hills 90210.
Someone invent reality television so we can watch people dying. Jackanapes.
But yeah, the Master turns up. He hypnotizes folk, and
I'm just seeing my note that down from the bottom here that says, "What's the language barrier on this show?"
Well, it's getting edited, so
yeah, you can beep it out, can't you? It's not like we're doing it live. Who the fuck is this goober in the bowler hat? Some English cunt or something?
It's not a Time Lord, that's just an Englishman.
Yeah.
That's how they go.
Pip, pip.
They do their flow.
Yeah.
High on crimes.
I do have like notes to say
crimes,
how is this Time Lord blinking around like the Q? How can he do all that, Richie?
When you talked about the Bad Master, like
he makes a TARDIS noise when he comes in. There's a wee TARDIS noise, and then he's like, "Pop."
But the what's the name of the Bad Master actor?
Roger Delgado.
Like you were mentioning before about like his face and his performance, and it's great. And it reminded me, one of my notes is about what I do love about watching things of this era is watching actors with a lot of dignity
Yeah.
standing in the middle of a wobbly set where everything's made out of cardboard, and they're talking about like octopus people from space. Like they're talking rubbish in the middle of a cardboard set, but they still somehow have that air of I am a serious man.
Yeah.
And I do really, really enjoy that combo.
Yeah. You know, he's going through the...
Oh,
It's like, I'll always try and do a good job on these things, darling, but I'm in King Lear in 2 weeks, and I need to get this fucking done. So let's go. One of those kind of guys. Love that kind of shit.
I mean, it was a fairly big TV role at the time.
Yeah, Gavin.
The Bad Master, sorry.
I do hope you can spare a moment or two, Doctor.
Sarcasm always was a weak point with you, wasn't it? May I say that I think you look quite ridiculous in those clothes?
I am travelling incognito.
Oh, why?
We Time Lords don't care to be conspicuous. Some of us, that is.
Now, look, if you've come down here merely to be rude...
I came to warn you. An old acquaintance has arrived on this planet.
Huh? One of our people?
The Master.
That jackanapes, all he ever does is cause trouble.
He'll certainly try to kill you, Doctor.
I've also got a note here. I imagine there was something going on exciting at the time about radio telescopes.
It's a very cool, interesting thing still today, but back then when there was shit all to do, probably that's like extremely exciting.
Richie, I love that as a note where you haven't checked if...
I think I probably meant to check.
Well, think about all the things.
Like writing down, people were probably really into radio activity around this time.
Like, think about movies from like the 70s and 80s. There are a lot of big radio telescopes. You know, that was a thing. They're interesting to look at. The possibilities of finding messages from beyond, all that stuff. I can imagine that would have
Who doesn't love sped up footage of them turning in sync?
When it happened, I did not expect the little scientist to be in the tin.
That's good. That's good.
That's what I said. I literally said out loud, that's good. Look at him.
I thought it was supposed to be an egg.
The Master having a gun that shrinks people has always just been tremendously good because it comes up again and again later on.
It's so good though, just the idea like he hated eggs and now he is as an egg.
All things that are small are as eggs.
Yeah.
It's not a shrinking gun. It's a gun that makes people the size of an egg.
I couldn't make anything the size of an egg.
If you shot it at an ant, it would be enlarged.
Oh, yeah.
You actually have to be very careful just shooting it into thin air because it might hit like an atom.
Exactly.
Into an egg.
Richie, this is why you can't just write down shrinking gun. You need to look these things up.
I could
It's
give you
a
the
gun
name
that turns things into the size of an egg. I really think this might be the funniest thing I've ever come up with.
Imagine just shooting the Bad Master's gun, shrinking gun, or egg gun, let's say, indiscriminately into a beach. You know,
You just turn every grain
into the size of an egg. Nightmare.
That would quadruple the size of the beach.
That's how Pebble Beaches come to be.
That damn Bad Master
invented. Yeah,
It's good. It's good.
making all those pebbles into eggs. Anyway,
Yeah, also, I got the Master has such a good face.
Shrink
really
an
is.
ostrich egg, make it just a bit more manageable.
well, there's a lot of hubbub around telescopes and a lot of hubbub around plastic being like a exciting thing.
Yeah, that was back before it was in all of our balls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true, but like plastic was relatively.
and you know how they do that? They get a big ball of plastic and they shoot an egg gun on it.
It's funny
Richie,
that
I don't want to get too sidelined here, but Richie, if your bollocks were shot with the size of an egg gun, would they get bigger or smaller?
It'd stay exactly the same.
Just a tingle.
Yeah.
Just like using that mint body wash.
Imagine the Master using the gun to target the microplastics in your balls.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out.
Imagine pumping your balls full of saline solution to make them big.
That's the real
bigger.
terror of the Autons.
Like on Eurotrash.
It's funny that they write a story to be like, imagine plastic was scary and now it's literally in our balls killing us.
Getting bigger and bigger. Growing.
Like a little plastic army man running through your bloodstream.
Like the Gaviscon guys.
Yep. Just running through your bloodstream, getting to your eyes and just cutting all the cords.
We've got
Or plugging the cords into different bits, or plugging the eye cords into your nose so you're seeing all the smells and smelling all the sights.
That's what they call him, the Bad Master.
That's what they call him, that.
we're definitely a season or two away from getting an Auton story about taking control of people's balls.
That would have been a Torchwood. If Torchwood was still going.
Aye.
But that is a good idea. The Autons controlling the microplastics, and they can control people then. And, it could be like every Cyberman story.
Yeah, it could be like a kind of commentary on the environment.
You got to watch out for this stuff.
Well, I mean, look at that. That would only be enjoying the fruits of the plant that the air zone solution planted. So
this is good, Gav. This is good.
There's one part's not getting cut out.
No. Well, don't skip to episode 2. Episode 1, I have one note about episode 1. Belfast guy licking his lips at an inflatable chair, and then later he calls it a black pudding.
Oh yeah.
My first note on episode 2 is Northern Irish man sees an inflatable chair for the first time and licks his lips.
Okay, nice. Okay, so I guess that was episode 2.
I think that for the episode
Period
1,
accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, they were only new.
I can get into this.
It was funny. Did you ever have one of those inflatable chairs?
No.
In your room? Like, I had one.
I think if I had an inflatable chair, I wouldn't be able to stop licking my lips. I'd be insane.
Inflatable chairs were one of those things. I don't know what mind control waves they were putting out that made you think, I'm going to buy that. You sit down, and on day one, you already know, well, this is just a fucking nightmare. Because it's uncomfortable. The noise out of it, just the constant squeak.
Yeah, there's no support or anything like that.
Yeah. We had a see-through purple inflatable chair, and that's what my sister sat on, and I sat on the Donkey Kong 64 inflatable banana that you could sit on. Now, sideways. I sat on it sideways, but it was big enough to be a chair.
Wait, sorry, you just said sideways. I was like, are you sitting straddling it like a
like a banana boat?
Yeah, like being towed around the Mediterranean on a little speedboat.
Like a little banana boat.
But it's funny to be like, look at this exciting new product. It's a chair that looks like a bin bag.
Yeah, it looks like black pudding.
I think it's something that sticks with you. None of you have ever lived as a fat man, right? So see, even when you're a little fat guy, you always think that no matter what it is, a chair, a ladder, anything, you think that won't take my weight. And I always think of that with things like that. You go, that inflatable chair would just burst, and everyone would say he's fat.
I thought you were going to say
burst.
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were saying you can't look at a chair and not think,
That looks like a black pudding.
That reminds me of black pudding, and I'm fat.
What you're saying is the master wouldn't have. He wouldn't have got to you, even though it's hypnosis.
No, this is it. I've got too much damn shame.
My next note is on that. It's the Bad Master can control minds, but we keep cutting to him having petty squabbles with factory workers.
Yeah, just don't bother.
To establish, I can make anyone do whatever I want, but he's spending so much time being like, no, look, listen, just
doing admin.
If you just hang on, just sit over there for a second and let me talk to this guy for. Oh my god!
This fucking guy
running this factory is actually a massive pain in the arse.
There must be easier ways to do this. I've got a gun that can turn anything to the size of an egg. You know? Really, that can like shrink Big Ben to the size of an egg.
Yeah.
Anybody tries to like stop you, egg. You know?
The entire police force, egg.
Just egg everything.
Shrinking Big Ben and selling it to France. I know he's under hypnosis, but I like how the fella's like, he's dead, and then he's like, right, anyway. It's very Doctor Who. Anyway, let's go.
That. I did write my
notes. There's a good few moments like that in this where people die and they're like, go on, get a stretcher.
Yeah.
That's later on.
Life was cheap back then. And, I've got my notes
when someone dies and they don't even bother, like, he's dead. Is he dead? Should we check? No, he's gone.
And the incinerator, mate. Incinerator. I've got they love a glowing meteorite in Doctor Who, don't they? Unimaginative, lazy. Because just at one point they're just like, yeah, there's glowing meteors in this now as well. And you're like,
when does that happen?
It doesn't come up much even. It's just like,
okay, so that's right. So this episode is a kind of a fault.
Oh, sorry. Genuine accident.
I thought it was gonna be like Sean's kind of like the QI horn, but it's like a noise for when Richie's going to start explaining stuff.
Oh, that was perfect.
This is so the season before there's an episode called where we have the Autons. It's called Spearhead from Space, and it starts with those meteorites, and they're kind of giving off this signal. So that's where they come from. All right. Okay.
Welcome to my corner where I say, each episode I have a positive thing to say. Like before, it was the actors with the dignity. For episode 2, I liked the exchange. Gentlemen don't discuss money. Gentlemen don't talk about anything else.
That's good.
There you go. I thought that was good. Also, did you notice in that scene, he's like they're trying to get information. They're like, empty your pockets and all that. And Doctor Who's wallet is embroidered with Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I had that written down.
How did I miss that? Is that actually?
It's pretty. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
One of those. Maybe. Do you think
it's a weird one after because it was the letter that was signed in episode 1. Was that episode 2 or episode 1?
Oh, that's what bugs me about Doctor Who fans. Like constantly be like, his name isn't Doctor Who. Don't say Doctor Who, and then you're like,
I know
says
the
evidence. Says it on his wallet. Sign that letter.
Says it on his fucking driver's license. Speaking of which, we saw Brum. There was Brum in episode 1. Excellent. Loved that.
Always love to see Doctor Who's yellow car.
One thing I will say in earnest about this so far, is that something I really liked about the Doctor and the Master were that they both were convinced that they knew the other one inside out.
Oh yeah.
And that it's like the Doctor's weakness is his curiosity, and that's how I'm going to get him. And the Doctor's like, the Master's curiosity is his weakness is his vanity, and that's how I'm going to get him. And they're both incredibly arrogant about it, to the point where you're like, I don't care which one of you wins. But it's something so like you never see it. When do you get a protagonist in a show who's like an actual arsehole the way the Doctor is being?
It's fun that the Bad Master talks such a big game. I was like, I'm 2 million chess moves ahead of him, but we also seems like I'm going to get some circus guys to hit him with a baseball bat.
Yeah, he did. He has that line, doesn't he, where he's sort of like, it was like, but you didn't kill him. You failed to kill him. I know. I know.
Just as planned.
It's my note for episode 3. Bad Master likes edging.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We can't go on to episode 3 until we've talked about real goblin caught on camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think like all things, as soon as I saw it, I thought I want a little ugly doll.
Yeah, get Super 7 to make horrible, shitty doll
Yeah.
from that episode.
Ultimate Edition ugly doll.
It is funny. That it's
£35.
the most. I mean, obviously they reference it, but it is the most hideous little thing. And then when it starts, I think this the thing I like about that horrid synthesizer music in Terror of the Autons is it really adds to how grotty and horrible it can be.
Could you imagine if there was no music for that? just lobbing that in a thing. It just sounds like throwing that in your car.
My note was, don't like to take the piss out of old effects, but the doll killing the man is very, very funny. Like there was no like. It would have been very hard to like sit completely stone faced with like, no, that was. I mean, look, it's old. You don't expect, all the modern day effects, but it's like this is very laughable. It's
I think
very funny.
When the doll's attacking the dude and the scream that the woman let out, and I wrote down like it was Tales of the Unexpected level, like schlock, and I really dig that. Like I really enjoyed that part. Like I thought that's the best part of it so far.
So he's trying to get the guy at first to just take the little plastic goblin, right? Or is the mind control not working on that guy at that point or something? But like,
I think so, yeah.
How many times has the bad master failed to mind control someone and said, "Or look over there," and they look over there and he throws a plastic goblin in the back of their car? How the fuck has that gotten him?
Do you also like when he raises his hand to him?
Does it? I actually forgot.
When he's trying to argue him at the desk and he's clearly not getting through to him, and then the master just is like, "Yeah, fucking." Like, do
you want to be excised?
But yeah, he just gives him the wee doll.
I'll put this doll in the back of your car, and then when the doll is a certain temperature, it will kill you.
It was, but yeah, because I was expecting that to just be, the doll comes to life while he's driving, and we see a car crash. The fact that it gets home, the wife sees it and goes, "Oh, that's a weird. Why do you have that?" And half an hour probably passes.
Yeah.
But do we not enjoy the tension in the car when the doll sits up, and then he's like, I might open the window, and the doll's like, right, okay, later.
That's like the idea that he's just the master will be like, I'll stick this in the back, and then when there's a nice day.
He's done for. Just when he's enjoying the weather the most. No, it's because he's old. He knows he'll have the fucking heating filled hell.
As soon as he pushes the cigarette lighter button in the car, which it definitely has.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think like looking at when I watch things like from this era, I often think about how easy it would be to commit crimes. In terms of like
with the doll.
Yeah, and like for the most part, back then, all you had to do to get away with murder was just not be there when the police showed up. But then when I see a travelling circus in the 70s, I think to myself, fuck, what must have gone on in real, like the things they must have got away with.
The murders they committed.
Yeah. No phones, no nothing, just people travelling up and down the country wrecking
the place. There are
place.
Definitely exotic animals buried in Britain that just died as they were doing the rounds. And it's like, do you think they're going to phone anyone to come deal with a deadline?
That probably used to be an act. That used to be an act. It's like just watching a cow getting shot point blank in front of the crowd.
Bucket of confetti on it.
There will be like a dig in 100 years and someone will be like, the mystery of how the elephant died in the UK.
Turned out it was, what do you call it? Bobby Roberts. Bobby Roberts was a big circus guy in the UK, and I've got a picture of him and me standing together next to an elephant when I was like 3 years old. This little Polaroid.
Yeah.
And my mum always she used to always be like, "There's you and Bobby Roberts," and I was like, "I don't know who that is, Mum. What are you talking about?"
My friend does anyone else when I mention him?
Yeah, well, it's exactly. It's not like I've got a picture with Bobby Roberts. They're like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?" But I always think about the elephant and just I always feel a bit sad about the whole situation.
Yeah,
but
It was pretty cool to see an elephant get shot.
It was cool to see an elephant. What a horrible thing. Cut all this out. The elephant death.
You sure you don't want the possibility of one comment saying, I know Bobby Roberts. That was my dad.
Bobby Roberts is a legend.
Around East Post.
Around East Post.
One thing I appreciate about, I mean, it looks terrible, but I quite like all the, there's a real attempt at like virtual sets and backgrounds, and like we're in a warehouse, we're in this woman's kitchen, we're driving out in the car, you know, it's like this episode moves like fuck.
Yeah, I liked it when they were up in the station, and they're up the stairs and you see the countryside in the background and stuff.
Yeah,
like, I like that kind of look. It's just a nice, there's a coziness to that sort of effect.
Yeah,
that I enjoy.
As we move into episode 3, I'd like to raise
before we talk,
grievance.
I was going to say, let's talk about the cliffhanger to episode 2.
Oh my god! Like that's where I went. This is fucking. They've got me now. Like I wrote down in my notes that face
is terrifying.
Because I looked it up to see, like, because that was one of the many things that, like, you know, your Mary Whitehouse and whatnot were up in arms about, and certain parents groups, like the Autons, that bit in particular was brought up quite a lot to be like, look how fucking terrifying this is.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, it's probably bullshit, but there's a story about one of them getting a letter from Scotland Yard about how they're damaging children's trust in the police.
Hell yeah!
Aye, well. Terrence Dick's writing back like, you think you're brilliant because you've got that hat, but you'd be fuck all without it. Your friend Terrence Dick.
But yeah, the Auton in the car is it's a good one. It's a good scare, I think.
It really is.
Like, oh yeah.
There was also
but kids are going to think that's what police are. So, you know, just before you're like, oh, that's great, just think
about police relations in the community.
Just maybe think about society, like wider society, instead of your little program.
It's really funny. Sorry, I was going to say it's really funny as well. It's like they're taking us to a quarry. Oh fuck!
I've got in my notes quarry alert. It's like, because it's quite a caravan-heavy episode as well, and it made me think: is this where Pertwee's love affair for the caravan began?
Just think, like, this whole season does spend more time in quarries than in the TARDIS.
Quarries, prefabs. Didn't even have prefabs then, but you know, there you have it. Plastic was new.
Richie, I want to raise a grievance.
Okay.
We never do Daleks. It hit me while watching this. We never do Daleks.
No, we don't do it.
Yeah, you saved that for a Danny episode. Danny does Daleks.
Jesus, that's really good.
I just think the TARDIS team deserve a Dalek.
Well, I was going to remark, because I've never watched a Dalek episode, but I know what they sound like, and the Autons just have the same thing.
They're very similar, and and I think I've seen a lot of Dalek episodes, and like I don't necessarily like. I know that they are the big villains and whatnot, but I've never considered the Daleks to be like as cool as even like a Cyberman. I think the Autons are cooler villains than the Daleks.
Please join us in the next episode of I Hate Doctor Who, Genesis of the Bad Daleks.
Look, I'm just going to warn you in advance. Genesis of the Daleks is a 6-parter.
But I watched Trial of a Time Lord.
It is great. No, you're right, actually. And do you know what it is as well? It's like, because I'm like, everybody knows the Daleks. But you're right, we've been doing deep dives so much now that you deserve, something like that.
Give us a wee treat.
A wee Dalek treat.
Yeah, I think, like, I've got the Doctor doing some proper martial arts as well. Going into episode 3, he smacks a guy and he goes, yeah!
Oh yeah. So a big part of the Third Doctor is that he's action man. He does a lot of.
Is that like the Venusian?
Aikido?
I was going to say it's like Venusian Kung Fu, but it's Aikido, isn't it? Fuck.
And this is jumping too far ahead, but when he dives off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Towards the end, I did like a genuine whoa. Just
I
came
love-
out of me like.
I love one of the things I love about this period as well is that they have an absolutely mental stunt team.
Mm.
I mean,
they're
the
called
stuntman who falls down that quarry.
Oh, that's
shit.
Big Terry Walsh.
He absolutely
So there's two.
eats shit.
Again, this is the whole thing about. I mean, this is what you get from years of conventions where stories evolve and change. But there's two versions of that story. One of them is that they didn't. Basically the stunt was a bit off the mark, and he got smacked by the car and flung down that hill. And he was like, and he just gets up again. And I'm like, that's brilliant, great. But then also there's another version of the story where Terry's like, I really want to get thrown down that hill. It's like, well, we're not going to pay you more for it. He's like, I just want to do it. Just please.
I'll be doing it anyway.
Which is actually the one I prefer.
I'm just gonna roll down the hill. I'm going.
Don't do it now. I'm coming back tonight.
I mean, they had to work overtime to convince him to not be shot with the egg gun. Shoot me with a fucking egg gun. Come on, no, I want to be the size of an egg.
Then roll me down a hill.
Terry, no.
If I'm the size of an egg, I'll roll down a hill longer.
Terry, if we shoot you with that gun and roll you down the hill, you'll be scrambled.
But
you'll be dizzy.
I do like. Oh god! I do love the stunt team though because they just love
we're going out on that. Sure,
that was the joke.
It's very much for
I appreciate him.
Sean, a solid 15 years younger than all of us.
No, I've played every Dizzy game.
I'm so dizzy.
The hand opening and shooting the rocket is the coolest thing I've ever seen in Doctor Who, by far.
Oh, yeah. The Auton hands are great.
Yeah, that is exceptional. Again, one of those things like the face at the end of episode 2 where I was like, the Autons are the best baddies. Like, these guys are very creepy. I love that kind of slow walking thing that's very effective. Love it. So, yeah, I'm an Auton guy. Not so much in the new one. Remember, I don't know if you'll remember when Mickey Smith was kidnapped by the Autons.
Do you know that's the next time? I think that, that's the next time they show up.
Because I read that is because this was the first episode. This is the first villain of this era of Docky, and your man Russell T Davies or whatever wanted the Autons as the first.
Ah, right, okay.
Is there some sort of synergy there in their head? Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what goes on through these fucking guys' heads?
Now, Gavin, you've been really positive there for like a solid minute, so I just want to counter that with one of my notes. Colonel Masters, Doctor Who is rubbish.
I loved that. I was having such a great that was the bit that made me go, okay. I'm on board with this now. What a silly man.
So quickly, Richie, what are we talking about?
You totally throw me off there. I don't know. Oh, that was it. There's like a weird spin-off series made the 90s when the show was off the air because all these filmmakers in the 90s could buy the rights to characters off the old writers quite cheap. So when they wanted to make the Autons in the new series, they had to contact just this guy because they found it was like, this guy's got the rights to the Autons, and they had to get them back off of him. But then also they said to him, they're like, right, don't tell anyone that we're bringing back the Autons. And of course, within about a month, everybody knew that the Autons were going to be the first.
That's the Doctor Who community for you, though, man. Like, fucking can't hold their water.
No,
can't trust them.
Joe and the soldier, their exchange in this episode is very Dark Place. And I know Dark Place is obviously, taken a lot from this kind of era of television, but their whole exchange, just his kind of like, calm down, dear.
Yeah.
You just sit there, and she having to, do the role of like, well, that whole exchange was just so straight out of Dark Place.
Yeah.
So you've had a mug of army, Coco. You just haven't lived.
You know, I don't think the doctor would approve of that.
What?
Making free with his Bunsen burner. Hello? Scientific supply section. I'd like to speak to Mr. Campbell, please.
Then he shouldn't go gallivanting off, leaving me stuck here.
What about me? I'm stuck here too, you know.
Oh, well, that's different, isn't it? I'll just go and fetch the gubbins.
Thank you and good night, Captain Yates.
I think I do like about Joe is that
we haven't talked about Joe.
We haven't talked about Joe. So this is Joe's first episode, and Joe's quite funny because the episode prior to this one, literally the last episode was Inferno, and that was Liz Shaw, the scientist, and then she's gone. She's not even written out. She's just gone. And they're like, oh, I can't remember what they said she was doing. She's got a new job, basically. And they're like, we've got Joe. She's a bit of a liability. But I think a lot of Joe's strengths are like when the doctor's being big and kind of, basically what we were saying earlier about being big and arrogant and like making points. And every so often it'll cut to her face. She's like, all right, okay. Like as if that's sort of like, it totally deflates someone with the smallest looks. I think she deflates them really nicely, and I think that's why one of the many reasons Joe's very good.
I think at the very least it's almost like a Jim from The Office situation where even if the doctor's not being brought down a peg, at least they get to look at the audience and go, look, we know he's being a prick as well. Don't worry about it. We don't think this is good either. Like the way he's acting.
Don't be like that.
I did write in my notes, my one thing about Joe, I think Joe might have a Frankenstein head. It's so long.
I'm going to have to look up just again.
Yeah.
You want to see Under the Fringe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Check for the scars.
It's just it's a very big, long sort of...
Oh, I know what you mean. You know what? Yeah.
She did have on her back, that jar with a brain in it.
That's true.
She was carrying around that brain.
Those bolts through her neck.
I love the idea that he's saying very Frankenstein-like, and I'm going, "What are you talking about?" And when they look up, they see the bolts. Like, oh right, yeah.
She's wearing shoes with like 8-inch soles on them.
God, I didn't know. And she's very afraid of fire.
Yeah.
She drowned that wee lassie.
So when the doctor is being really arrogant with just the smallest, really undermine him.
When they are doing the thing about, obviously in the show, if you haven't seen it, everyone, we'll do the quick recap. So the Auton or the Nestines plan, they're giving out these plastic flowers around town.
Flowers.
And it's like a big thing saying plastic comes to town. And I wrote, fucking hell, there really was nothing back then. Like you could give someone a plastic flower and they'd be like, holy shit, this is plastic?
What the fuck?
This is a game changer.
Yeah.
Have you seen the plastic?
I'm going to buy so much plastic.
Well, imagine...
I'm going to fill my house with this shit.
I'm going to get my balls filled with this.
What you do is that you hand out, like, I guess you're using less plastic with the flowers, but if you gave everyone one of the little plastic men, of the little plastic goblins, imagine how excited they'd be right away that their body heat would go right up instantly, like 10,000 little goblins.
They should have gave them like a wee like mini Power Ranger or something.
Yeah.
They should have gone around and the flowers are going to spray a bad gas at everybody. They should have gone around just with some guns and instead of handing out flowers, just be like, bam.
I was going to say,
all right, everyone back in the van. We'll hit the next town.
Those big giant heads that those guys are wearing, like the big
put a bomb and a flower.
Like those big, like weird paper mache heads, and I'm like, no wonder everyone who grew up when this came on is mental now.
What it should have been, it would be like it's like all of the flowers should have had a little tag and it said, if you want another free flower, go to this address, and the address is like a little outhouse that when you go in, it's just a big hole in the ground, and they all die. If it was going to work that well.
Like the escalator to nowhere in The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Episode 2 had the greatest cliffhanger of all time. That could only be topped by the cliffhanger of episode 3. Which was the good doctor being wrapped up with the telephone cable.
No! I love when the fella came in and installed the new telephone. and it's like there's a lot made about this telephone. Oh, this is a telephone, a whole scene about it's the big telephone scene, and then I love later when I love later when the mask comes off. Oh my god, it's the master.
That sounds like kind of like fucking Chekhov's phone cord, where they're just like, "That's a long cord." Aye, that's right enough. Aye,
it makes your phone go much longer. You see,
there's so much in this episode that's just like a lingering shot of Pertwee's head and shoulders for about 40 seconds as he looks at the doll, and like I wrote down like there's a whole big scene of them just looking through some documents in an office. Yeah. Like, this is for kids. Like, what he's doing, just people just doing some admin in the background.
Fuck all
so
so
in episode 3, the Bad Master talks about how he really likes edging, and that he's like, what does he say? The longer the
phone
chase,
cord,
the sweeter the victory, or whatever.
Yeah,
and that inspired a lot of people to get into edging for.
I know it worked on me.
It worked on me. But then in the next episode, when the phone cord thing is wrapping around his head and someone just cuts the wire and it doesn't work, the master is really like, I wanted that one to work, actually.
I would love, like, if he had succeeded.
Shoot him. I mean, walk up to him with a gun.
But like, would he have the bragging rights? To walk around saying, like,
I killed the doctor.
I killed the doctor. What I did was I phoned him and I said, "Is your refrigerator running?" And he said, "What?" I made the phone kill him.
I mean, that's what you got to thank God.
Did he go with dignity and like was it like a clever plan? He's like, well, I mean, the phone was plastic and I had to put that in there, so it was pretty clever. I think. No, I think that was my ultimate victory, and I think I'm happy with.
I think the result speaks for itself ultimately, and
he's just regenerating in the phone cable, but just keeps dialing him. 3, 4, 5.
I did enjoy that when he's getting choked by the phone thing, he did panic in a real kind of. I mean, the guy saves his life, pulls that plug, and he is probably going, I'm going to fucking die right now. And he calls for help.
Also, he did his good Pertwee struggle face, which is that comedy like.
Imagine though that how finding the doctor. You walk into the room and find Doctor Who strangled, choked to death like fucking Michael Hutchins, just sitting like. Oh, come on!
Maybe that was the Master's plan. Doctor, not only going to kill you.
The doctor to phone a sex hotline.
We're either going to get you with the clone cords or we're going to get you with the bad gas. Either way.
The master was...
He's spinning so many plates that he's like, well, something around here is going to kill him. I mean, maybe he'll sit in the inflatable chair and that'll kill him.
It really made it seem that like when he like said that, oh, the longer the chase, the whatever. When he was so instantly raging when the phone thing didn't work because he was like, I've run out of ideas.
I really went all in on that plastic.
And I like that though, because it's going to make this even longer. We've got another episode out of this. Because that was like, again, looking up some trivia for this, and like this episode's original working title was The Bad Master's Bad Gas.
Yeah.
I Hate Doctor Who is about 70% lies, and I love it. The best show on Spotify.
But what 70%? It's almost impossible to tell.
I think. Do you know what is terrible? The actual working title for the story was something like the evil spray or something like that. So you're not actually that.
Oh well, yeah,
awful powder.
Not bad. Did anyone else get a fright when the Auton came out of the safe?
Yes.
Yeah,
I did a proper. Oh yeah, I would hate
it's
that.
It's funny because like when it happened, it was like it was actually quite obviously framed that something was going to happen there, but I was just completely
like,
I guess you just assume, we're just going to watch someone go through files for.
Might as well. Yeah. Well, when you say it like that, actually, yeah, I guess they spent that much time going through files to set up. Okay,
exactly. Yeah,
this is a boring show.
Nothing happens in this.
It's really disarming. They really disarmed you so they could throw the biggest fright in your life.
My only note for before we go straight into episode 4 completely. Well, in fact, 2. 1, Joe says to the guy on the phone, "You're a Dolly Scotsman," when he helps her out.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Nice to be seen.
And then when the doll gets shot to bits, I wrote, fucking yes, the doll gets shot to bits. That's how I want to go. Big chunks of me flying off, fully aware and alive throughout in my last terrible moments. But
feeling all your chunks being removed.
Yeah, be completely aware to the very last, you know?
You can feel yourself getting, like, imagine getting so many chunks blown out of you, you can feel yourself getting lighter.
Yeah, that's it. And as we've established, I'd love that.
You could sit in that chair.
I love how long he spends on the little operation he does, the little autopsy he does on the doll, which you can't see. And he's like, that's solid plastic.
Yeah.
yeah.
We are going to cut the evil doll's arse.
But nobody knew what plastic was like when this came out, so...
That's true.
That's it.
Everyone was sitting there like looking at each other like, I suppose it's like sort of like a loaf of bread. I mean, it looks like it would feel like a loaf of bread. I'm not going to get a phone that's like a loaf of bread. This is stupid.
Did you think, like when you see shows like this, I think we've talked about this before, but they always make me want to play around for about half an hour in a quarry. And like when we went, like Sean, you weren't there, so if you can turn your
mute.
Yeah, can you just turn and take your headset off? But when Richie and Owen and I went to Forgotten Worlds game store recently, and just next to there was just like a giant pile of sand and rocks, like this massive mountain. I thought, I really want to go on that. And I think Doctor Who plays a big part in that.
Lethbridge Stewart here. I want to call to the RAF, please. Priority Red 1, strike command.
So that's episode 4 now.
That was episode 3.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, so we're on to episode 4. Sorry.
So, yeah.
Oh my god.
Where we have the promise of perhaps seeing a rocket strike.
Yeah,
I know, it's very funny that they're like, we found the bus, we're bringing in the RAF to do an airstrike. to blow up a bus.
Yep.
The Brigadier really needs to run a tighter ship. Because he gives the order, abort the airstrike. And instead of following the order, I mean, I always thought one of the things that happens when you're in a sort of an army is that when your superior says something like abort the airstrike, you hop to it.
Yeah.
But the guy responds with like, it's too late. And the Brigadier is forced to say, well, try. Like, just, well, call them anyway and see if this... And it does work, of course, but it's like... You can shoot that guy in the back of the head for being like, no.
Later on, when he sees that guy later, he'll be like, what was the fucking game earlier?
And then he'll just shoulder past the Brigadier like, don't give me it. And he'll just have to leave it.
A lot of them are really blasé about a lot of that stuff, because like even when Doctor Who's protesting about like don't send in that airstrike, it's just funny even just talking about an airstrike in Doctor Who. Don't do that, and the guy's like, no, I'm gonna do it, and then he goes off, and then he talks to the other guy and goes, how long have we got? And he's like, an hour and a half. Probably an hour and a half. But then the doctor's like, the pilot's exactly an hour and a half.
The pilot's gonna have a cup of tea before he goes, so it could be.
Depends what kind of biscuits they've got and stuff.
And then the master comes in with his egg gun.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which is holding like a cigar, which I quite enjoyed.
Be good if he shot the egg gun at the missiles that were as they were coming down.
Yeah.
They were just like egg missiles.
Well, you do you shoot missiles down at the side, because he was holding like a cigar. Shoot them down to the size of an egg, and then he catches the missiles and then smokes like a cigar.
Yeah. Again, that's what they do.
And
these days, that's exactly what they do.
Exactly what they would do.
Yeah.
Did we all enjoy the shot that proved that this was being filmed by boys? So as the bus careens through the countryside, there's a shot where there's a big puddle and they get the bus going through the big puddle. And, you know, they were like, get the bus going through the big puddle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes like a big splash.
I thought you were going to say like they had a big shot of a woman's arse or something like that.
Yeah. No, big bus like, puddle. Big puddle, like just get that big splash. And then from behind as well. Splash.
Yeah, I mean,
like, one thing we've skipped past there is the radio tower when they're climbing up that thing, and the guy falls like how many feet?
Yeah,
like loads.
Oh yeah, it's a proper death fall.
Yeah, and that's the one I was talking about earlier, where they just glance at him and go, "Get a stretcher," and then keep going.
But this is when you're in the military like that, you know,
it's not end of the world stuff here.
It's like you can't stop to. We'll mourn them when this is over.
Just get that guy wiped up for now.
Yeah, exactly.
So go back to the airstrike thing. Do you ever like enjoy that thing in TV programs when they keep talking about something's going to get blown up or shot to bits, and they show you it, and you're like, "That's not happening." I know for a fact that the thing I'm looking at right now
for one day.
Yeah, absolutely not. Nothing here is getting blown up.
Yeah, it's like
they blow up one of those satellite dishes.
That's going back to being a rent-a-caravan tomorrow.
Yeah, I like seeing though, like when then the doctor shows up in his fucking car, and I'm like, I've never wanted to see a rocket attack something more.
Do you like when he did the?
Could you imagine? Yeah, like a proper run away from the car and jump explosion. Pause credits.
Do you like when he did the Morse code with the bright lights? See, that's good. That's ingenuity. That shows that the Doctor, his weakness is curiosity. Yes.
I also liked how long the message was.
Yeah.
Tapping away for ages.
We're stuck in here.
We're stuck. We got into a bit of bother, so we're just...
If anyone's making a cup of tea or anything, we'll be
right. Bourbon's are fine under the circumstances.
Another instance of the Bad Master's stoicness going to panic very quickly was when they're up in that radio tower and the Doctor's all like, "Oh, this is going to kill you as well." And just in seconds being like, "Oh, right."
Yeah. So I've got like the Doctor and the Master must work together against the Nestines because the Master did not take into account that they were not nice.
That this was a bad plan. The Bad Master had a bad plan. It's very it is very funny. It's one of the only time you'll see like in a film or a TV show where they're like they have to have the bit where the hero pleads with the villain. It's like, have you not thought about this? And it's the only time that the villain's gone, "Oh God.
Oh, you're joking, hey!"
But you know, I didn't even think about that.
Like a split second. Nice try, Doctor. No.
That's the thing with the Doctor, though, because you'd never get with this Doctor at least like we could have been friends. You know, you wouldn't get
you
that.
And I,
because
no,
he's just
we're
like,
not so different. You and I.
It's like I hate you. And then the Master gets two in the guts for the Bad Master. With playing his big trick on them. When
do they shoot him? What was it? Oh yeah, they do shoot him.
Yeah, because he's like he's coming out of the bus and they're all like, "Stop where you are," and he's like, "Oh no, watch him! He's crafty," and he kind of turns around and then he just starts running at them with a gun. You're like, and he just gets shot in the guts. You're like, that was a really bad plan.
Get that airstrike back
so
on.
Deceitful. Yeah.
And then he kind of goes,
blow up this body.
And then he does a proper, like, no, look that way. And then he gets in the bus and drives off at like 5 miles an hour.
Oh man, in 3 hours he's going to get back to his TARDIS.
Driving a
Somebody
bus.
do something. We can't.
Driving a bus.
Army?
A bus in a field as well.
Yeah.
And you know he'll be hitting that puddle on the way back as well. Oh fucking yes, man.
He's taking the bus lane. We can't follow him. He's in the fucking bus lane.
All of units tanks backed up for miles.
I liked that we talked so much about like why does the Master just not fucking shoot everybody? Why not? And like that they did think that through because that it is fun that is eventually his untimely demise. He gets just blasted in the stomach 3 times. But then, of course, it's not even fucking him. He goes off.
Yep.
But he learns from that. He's like, oh my God, see these guns? There's just hot lead. When I'm back, I'm going all in on just firearms.
He found
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Just come back with a Luger.
Just shooting everyone in Britain one at a time.
Imagine his whole thing, like just being obsessed with plastic, led to him going, "I've invented a device that makes small bits of plastic shoot very fast into people's bodies."
Now I just need to lure everyone into a big quarry.
The only thing I had about the bad plastic plan. So he shoots the daffodil shoots a solid bit of plastic onto Joe's mouth, which is horrifying. You have to pull it off because she's suffocating.
Yeah, he has to spray like a can of WD-40 on her face.
Aye. Now he's holding the plastic in his hand after, and he's like, what was the plan here? What was going to happen to it after? And then he breathes on it. And it's like, so when you breathe carbon dioxide... Now, how's that going to be suffocating anyone for long if it dissolves when you breathe out?
Yeah. Is she not, like, the moment just going, yeah.
No, she kept breathing in.
She's always sitting.
Well, listen, she was, she just, when it happened, she just breathed out.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, we don't ask those questions.
No, God, no.
Good afternoon, Doctor. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important.
Imagine the master when he gets home and like his partner's like, you want to cook breakfast? And he goes, I need bother. And she's like, oh, he bought those fucking extra large free range eggs again. I can never. They're too big for me. Where's your? And she's going through the drawers. Where's your egg gun?
But having to plug the egg gun into a USB-C for like 5-10 minutes because you leave it overnight.
Yeah,
the thing needs a fucking charge again.
Charge it up enough to do one shot.
Imagine he mixes it up with his vape, and then it's all.
Just
imagine what you could. The wonders, like you could get 1 grain of rice, turn that into the size of an egg, shred that up. You've got.
Yeah,
like 100 grains of rice. Is that probably a lot more than that?
But think about that. Like, in terms
I can
of like,
only imagine just how furious
kitchen hacks
people who know Doctor Who are listening to this right now.
It's not an egg gun.
Do they know that? Do they know it's not an egg gun?
Why?
I like a joke as much as the next guy, but I mean, just do they know?
Fuck off.
I like the idea that
This is a waste of my valuable time.
Just
I'm going to watch another 100 episodes of Doctor Who.
Yeah. Just 3 different settings in the egg gun, which is quail, hen, and ostrich.
I just hope that it admits it like...
Just a little Cadbury's logo.
Yeah.
Cream. Set to cream.
Just think though, and then all the people would be like, see, they used to be bigger back then. Tell you.
Who wants to play a game?
I'll play a game.
Me.
Okay.
I'm ready to play the game.
Got my game here. Just bear with me. Okay. Hello and welcome to my game. Not so fantastic plastic.
Oh.
Inspired by those cunts, the Autons, who I think were made of plastic. I think we can all agree the thought of a child's toy being dangerous is enough to send a chill right down your spine and back again. Yep. But this very poor episode of the already quite bad television program Doctor Who was not the first time we saw this horrible idea explored. Was it? No. In 1992, the American fantasy comedy film Toys, starring Robin Williams, Michael Gambon, Joan Cusack, Robin Wright, LL Cool J, Arthur Mallet, Donald O'Connor, Jack Warden, and Jamie Foxx, first asked the question, what if a toy was a bad bastard? But how well do you know toys?
How Owens, I can't believe Owens managed to tenuously get Toys. The film.
I can't believe now that he's mentioned it. I can't believe that Doctor Who ripped off Toys.
Okay, just say your name if you want to jump in with an answer. Okay, let's just practice that now. Richie. Sean? And Gavin?
Gavin.
Lovely. Okay. Toys was released in 1992, the same year as Disney's Aladdin, which also starred Robin Williams. Which film fared better at the box office?
Richie.
I
think that was Richie. Richie?
I think that one might have been Aladdin.
Yeah, the answer is Aladdin by loads. Question 2. Was Robin Williams the hairiest film star of the 90s?
Richie.
Richie.
Maybe Tom Selleck?
You just say no.
Anyone else want to jump in?
Gavin, I'll say Dunstan from Dunstan Checks In.
Oh, you're warmer. Sean, you want to take a stab at it?
No.
Pass.
The answer is no.
Well, I'll give you a half a point because the answer is no. It was Mighty Joe Young.
You just asked if he was or wasn't.
Well, you get your half point, all right?
I know, Christ.
Which doctor did Robin Williams say he felt like after dyeing his hair orange and donning his costume for the movie Toys? Sean?
Dr. Doolittle.
Oh, I'm afraid not.
Gavin.
Gavin?
Sylvester McCoy.
No, but you're on the right track.
Oh.
Richie.
Richie?
Colin Baker.
The Sixth Doctor.
Oh, wow.
Robin
from
Williams
Doctor Who.
acknowledged the existence of the Sixth Doctor. Quite a horrible thought.
Christ, he really was depressed, wasn't
That did not happen. That did not happen.
That did happen. That's like the only fact here. Okay. During a 1992 press interview with Robin Williams, interviewer Bobby Wygant said, "I love the film." Was she lying?
he? Gavin.
Gavin?
No.
Correct.
Hey.
She
Nice.
wasn't. Of course she wasn't.
Yeah.
In 1954, John Pertwee was cast in a film called The Gay Dog. Oh, sorry, that wasn't a question. That's just simply a fact. The first of many Simpsons jokes to lose cultural relevance was a Toys reference. Where was it? Oh. Sean?
Wait, Mr. Burns, what? I only heard Simpsons.
But you are close.
Was it maybe one of the toy with the gun coming out of its mouth?
I don't think you know it. Folks, it's the scene in Burns' Air where Burns is wearing a bowler hat in the field.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It was a reference to the trailer for Toys where a desperate Robin Williams annoyingly and racistly pleads with the audience to go see the film.
That's what Sean said, essentially. Can he get the point?
Another half point for Sean.
Love it.
After Toys began to receive negative press, a play on the title of a previous Robin Williams film was used to disparage it. What was this withering pun?
Previous Robin Williams film. Before Toys.
What was before Toys? I mean, that was
BT.
the big one.
What was BT?
Fuck. Good. Is it based on Good Morning Vietnam?
It is not. Sean?
Flubber. That was after, but you know there might have been they might have been talking about.
I don't
that
think
Flubber
we're
was
going to
come out
get it.
someday.
But
Bad film hunting.
Okay, yeah, but no, it's none of those. It is the incredible, the Fisher Price King.
Oh,
Jeez.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Okay,
Flubber
penultimate,
was good.
penultimate question. Who provides the most irritating performance in Toys?
The Richie.
Richie?
Is it Robin Williams?
No.
Who's the guy that shoots himself in the foot?
Michael Gambon.
Is that Michael? I've not seen Toys. That's the only thing I remember about Toys is the guy shooting the fly on his toe.
Gavin.
Gavin?
The big duck.
You're getting closer. Sean, you want to steal?
No.
Pass.
It's Joan Cusack, of course. And finally,
Mad Nine.
In Toys, what was the purpose of the sea swine?
Was that the plane?
It was to take mines off ships' hulls. No. All right.
Take what?
It's
What?
like
Garbage
mines off
disposal.
the
As a
hulls of
pure
ships.
guess, that was an interesting answer.
They trained them to take mines off the ships' hulls like they used to do with dolphins.
A half point for an interesting answer, but I don't think anyone's going to get it because I have no idea and no one has ever figured out what that plot strand was supposed to be leading to.
Oh.
The sea swine, folks, if you know, let us know in the comments. Definitely one of the weaker parts of Toys, which I think otherwise is a pretty good film.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for playing my game, which I'll remind you was called Not So Fantastic Plastic.
Oh, well, I had a great time playing your game. If we're not going to wrap it up too quickly, I've got a game.
Are we going to play Gavin's game?
I'm going to play
Gavin's game?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
My game is called Auton, Johnny Roton, or Dot Cotton. I have a series of questions here. I'll ask each of you individually to pick one of our 3 categories. All your questions will be about a specific topic. Once your category is gone, it's gone. So let's hope your name is selected first. From this, that's right, it's the Cyber City Oedo 808 VHS slipcase.
Oh, nice.
I'll go in.
The 3 categories are
Well,
Autons.
I'll go through those for you in a second. If you just hold your fucking horses.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
First up is Richie Morgan. You'll be taken first.
I might go for Dot Cotton.
What? You don't know what the categories are? You don't know what the categories even are?
Oh, sorry.
Can everyone just relax? Just for a second.
I know it's exciting, but
Shut up.
Everyone's just coming off the high of the Toys quiz.
Exactly. So today in Auton, Johnny Roton, or Dot Cotton, our 3 categories are: number 1, the Autons, recurring villains in the Doctor Who series.
Yep.
2, Johnny Roton, the lead singer and right-wing nutjob from the Sex Pistols. And Dot Cotton, acclaimed EastEnders character played by confirmed corpse June Brown. Do you understand the rules of Auton, Johnny Roton, or Dot Cotton, Richie?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and which of the categories would you like to choose?
I'm going for Dot Cotton.
Dot Cotton. Okay, you have 5 questions on Dot Cotton.
Okay.
Starting now. Which year did Dot Cotton first appear in EastEnders? Was it 1961, 1985, or 1991?
85.
That's correct, 1985.
Yeah.
Well done.
Moses Cotton.
Dot Cotton famously worked at the Albert Square Laundrette, but what was the name of the establishment?
Oh, I have no idea.
Pass.
Oh, no.
Can I steal?
You can steal.
100% Cotton.
It should have been, but it was simply the Laundrette.
Oh. See.
On Christmas Eve 2015, Dot Cotton retired at what age?
85.
Simply 55. Crazy. Dot Cotton's Laundrette, according to the EastEnders wiki, has 9 machines. A mix of washers, dryers, and spin dryers. But how many of each?
I'm going to say 5 dryers. Wait, hold on. So there's spin
There's
dryers.
9 machines.
9 machines. And there's 3 types. So 3 of each.
If only it were so simple, Richie. I'm sorry. It was 6 washers, 2 dryers, and 1 spin dryer.
Oh.
Okay, last one question on Dot Cotton. You're sitting on 1 point at the moment. How many deaths has Dot Cotton been directly or indirectly responsible for, according to the wiki?
3.
In EastEnders or
in EastEnders? Yes, just not confirmed corpse June Brown.
I'll just say 3.
It was only 2. One was the assisted suicide of her pal Ethel, and I'll read this one verbatim about the death of her son Nick. She accidentally gives him impure heroin, but upon discovering how evil Nick is, she simply leaves him to die.
Yes, man. Yes.
Dot Cotton, badass.
Yeah.
Dot Cotton rules.
Okay, so Richie has 1 point.
Fucking Breaking Bad stole that.
Doc Cotton, Trailblazer.
She can't keep getting away with it.
Next up is Owen O'Donnell. Owen, you have a choice of either Johnny Rotten or the Autons.
I'll go Johnny Rotten.
Johnny Rotten.
That's what I want.
Question 1. Johnny Rotten's 1994 autobiography was called My Guts Are Rotten Tonight. True or false?
False.
It is false. It was actually rotten, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. And that's true. Huh. Pretenders frontwoman Chrissy Hind was prepared to marry Johnny Rotten years ago in order to stay in the UK. True or false?
True.
That is true.
This Rotten
Poor
guy
Chrissy
is
Hind.
so easy to read.
Who'd want to kick out Chrissy Hind?
I know. Oh, wouldn't he kick her out of bed for eating biscuits? Which airplane disaster did Rotten famously avoid by missing the flight?
Is it multiple choice, or do I have to just name one of my...
What's your favourite air disaster?
I mean, well, there's the big one.
We all know it.
But, and like, which tempts me to go for one of its lessers, but
810.
I think, you know, but I think, you know, it's the big one for a reason, and that reason is because it was famously the one that Johnny Rotten was almost involved in. You all remember the headlines. We all remember the spreadsheets. All those
Johnny
images,
Rotten
but at the
dodges
top,
bullets.
Johnny Rotten dodges all this.
Can you believe he could have
Dodges
been
a
here?
building.
Big picture, big arrow pointing to the plane.
The guy falling out.
That's what most of the people on the ground were saying that day. They were like, "Oh my god, is Johnny Rotten? Was he on? Was he on there? Someone called Johnny Rotten."
I think he's meant to be on that as they see it falling.
Just in case any listener hasn't picked up what we're referring to, is 9/11. That's the answer. 9/11.
No,
I'm
I
afraid
think
that's incorrect.
He was in the plane crash from Alive, right?
I'm afraid it was Lockerbie, 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 Lockerbie.
I was meant to be on that as well.
Rotten named Sid Vicious.
We can't.
What?
Sorry, keep going.
We can't what?
So you
Everyone's gonna be like, why was the Johnny Rotten quiz shorter than the
Okay, we'll just say the answer was the Lockerbie air crash.
I was meant to be on that one.
Johnny Rotten named Sid Vicious after his pet hamster. True or false?
True.
It is true. It's an amazing scene in the Sex Pistols movie, kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody, but for the Sex Pistols. And there's a fantastic scene, genuinely, where Sid Vicious he gets his finger bitten by the hamster, and he goes, "Oh, your hamster Sid's really vicious." And he goes, "Wait a minute!" Absolutely brilliant.
You know that hamster you've been looking for? Well, listen to this.
Just the sound of a wee wheel going round. Last question. When asked, Rotten said that during the last US election, he would in fact vote for Donald Trump if he could. True or false?
True.
True. Wanker. Sean Cunningham. Just so you make sure that this is all fair, I'm just going to show your name. Sean. It's backwards, but I'm sure you can see it. And you will be taking the Auton quiz.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
I saw the program that they're in.
So. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of it is about this. And if you were listening earlier in the show, some of it's already been spoiled.
Yeah.
So the Autons were the first Doctor Who villains to be shown in colour. Fact or crap?
Crap.
It's fact. I'm sorry.
But I saw the other ones in colour.
That's true. Okay, so I'll give you half a point.
All these half points are going to lead somewhere.
Yeah. The Autons were created by Robert Holmes, but which other mainstay Doctor Who villain did Holmes also create?
Oh, the toy fiddler. The Toy Master. The Toy... Is it that?
It's not, I'm afraid. It was the Sontarans. The Nestine homeworld has never been explored in any Doctor Who fiction, but it does have a name, confirmed in the novelisation of Terror of the Autons. But what is the name of the Nestine homeworld?
Nestinia.
That's right. Sean gets up. No, I'm sorry. It's Polymos.
Oh, okay.
Is that actually? I didn't know that.
That is better, in fairness.
You can look it up, baby.
I mean, I believe you.
In the LEGO Dimensions Doctor Who game, in the hub world, there is a side mission in the Trenzalore, sorry.
Trenzalore, yeah.
Trenzalore area, where players can team up with a popular Doctor Who character against the Autons. But which bisexual icon, who to be fair was subject of a bit of a witch hunt, not my words you understand, did the player team up with?
Oh, your man from, the one that you don't like.
Man.
I'm going to need a name.
The American fella. What's his name?
Barack Obama.
Is it Barack Obama?
It was Barack Obama. Sean gets the point, but it was the American man. And finally, I just found out...
The Autons must be able to do some damage in the Lego dimension.
I know. Look, some imagination on them, the Autons.
Doesn't bear thinking.
Last question, Sean. I just found out in doing this quiz that there's an unofficial spin-off Auton series of movies. There's 3 of them, and they look fucking great. True or false?
Oh, fuck. True.
It's true, and I think we owe it to ourselves and others to watch those 3 films for our podcast.
Yeah.
I was so ready
One of them...
the rug pull of false. I didn't think they looked great.
One of them stars Reese Shearsmith.
Well, there you go. Not bad, eh?
What are they called? What are the titles of the films?
Auton.
Auton 1, 2, and 3.
1, Auton 2.
They have really good subtitle name, like Auton Armageddon. Let me see.
Auton Revengeance.
Auton Revengeance. We've got
Who's that?
Auton 2 is Sentinel, and Auton 3 is some other shite. Anyway, thanks for playing my game. Owen wins.
Woo! Owen wins. Thanks to Johnny Rotten.
Thanks to Johnny Rotten for giving us all that information.
And for him surviving that terrible tragedy.
Surviving Lockerbie.
I'm just glad Johnny Rotten got back to your email with all that info.
Yeah, I mean, God knows.
You'll never guess what flight I was meant to be on.
It's a really good lie to tell as well. Do you know I was supposed to be on the Lockerbie flight? And they go, "Oh, really?" Like, aye. Apparently, in the thing I was reading about Johnny Rotten to look up facts, which were few and far between, it was like his wife hadn't took too long to pack for him, so that's why he missed the flight. And you're like,
she fucked up.
So basically, because he was a big baby,
yeah,
it saved his life.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine getting your wife to pack your fucking bags for you, but then it worked out for him.
I hope she fucking packed her own
bags.
Her
bags. Hope you fucking pack your bags.
Okay, Gavin, thank you very much for your game. It's most appreciated.
Welcome.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, Gavin. Your game was very good.
We're going to do some reviews. Review the game.
Can I ask?
Here's where I thought it went.
Can I ask you how you all felt about Terror of the Autons?
Oh yeah, we have to do it.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't say it was necessarily my favourite Doctor Who story, and it certainly doesn't contain my favourite Doctor, but I would say the Autons are probably now as I said earlier, my favourite of the villains.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'd say so. I really dig how creepy they are. I like the handgun. I like, and I will watch Auton 1, 2, and 3.
Did you watch
I haven't
from Space, Gavin?
Oh yeah, you better believe I've seen Spearheads. A couple of Spearheads from space. Yeah.
I thought it was good, but of the 3 I've seen, I think it was the weakest. Basing that purely on it, I think the Rutans just are a little better than the plastic fellas. What are they called? Autons.
But that's what makes the Who-universe so good, that there's something for everyone.
I really like squids that don't move. And Whatever was in the second one, I liked the best. I liked that one the best.
Auton.
That one had a fucking, what was his name? The zombie guy.
Oh God, what was his name?
Cadaver.
Cadaver. That was it. Yeah.
I don't think it was Cadaver. Was
it not?
Corpso.
Cadaver.
No, you're thinking of Doc Cotton again.
I'm just
Carcass.
Carcass. Not just a great metal band, but Richie, did you know that Auton 1 and 2, Auton Sentinel, were directed by Nicholas Briggs?
I think I probably would have known that. Are they not written by Mark Gatiss as well?
I probably would have known that.
Sorry.
What fucking answers that?
Sorry. I know. I don't know what.
I didn't know that, but I still feel I should get the.
What I meant was.
I feel like you get through life pretty easily with that answer. Imagine just doing your school exams. Getting a good score based on.
What I meant was, which is equally bullshit, but that information would have been in my head at some point, and then.
Auton 3 was written by Nicholas Briggs, but it was directed by a guy called Bill Baggs. Which is very funny.
I would love to go through school again, but dish that out every single time. Like every time, I just don't know the answer to something.
Getting 30 points on Mastermind.
That's in there.
Yeah,
definitely.
I definitely would have known that.
It just wasn't at the front of my lobe right now. It's somewhere in the back. Once you said it, I said that. Yeah. We pushed that right to the front of the lobe, but yeah, I did know that. Richie, we do this show all the time, every week, in fact. Some people have been saying that the feed, it hasn't been showing up, but we do this every week. And no one ever asks, what did you think of the episode? You will have seen it before, but how did you feel on this return?
Well, hold on. You haven't told us how you feel.
We'll get to me. That's the big finish.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, like I said at the start, I don't think it's the best example of Pertwee, but there is something about it that I love, and I think that it's quite a unique Doctor Who story. There's not a lot of stories like that one. I think I do love how mental it is. I love the stunt work and the craziness and the just terrifying, a lot of good terrifying faces, a wee man in a lunchbox, a posh man popping in from thin air. Like, I do really enjoy all that stuff. So I like it. But I wouldn't be like, if I was doing a podcast where I was trying to convince people that Doctor Who's good, I maybe wouldn't show it.
Yeah, you wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah. So
I'm glad you enjoyed it. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Owen, what would you say?
Same. So good night, everybody. No, I thought it was definitely, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
I must admit, most of the stuff I liked about it was kind of unintentional fun, in that, like, that's probably not supposed to look like rubbish, but it does, and that's fun. And I don't like to, take a pop at old effects. I really don't. But, the little goblin man is very funny.
Yeah.
And, like, a man is turned the size of an egg and put in a lunchbox, and the man being phone cable, and it's fun.
Really talk about much about the man being eaten by a chair.
Really?
It is a Doctor Who that is so.
That's why they have him lick his lips, because it's meant to be you're licking your lips in that chair. Well, wait a minute.
What that guy didn't notice was the chair was also licking its lips.
It's chair lips.
But like, it is a Doctor Who story that is so full of mad stuff that you can say 2 minutes before podcast ends, remember that chair ate a guy?
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's chock full of fun, mad stuff. So I enjoyed watching it. Thank you.
The TARDIS team salutes.
Is that the last we see of goblins? Like those?
There's no
specific little
none, they don't come back again.
There's
the master, however, is in every single episode of that season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's basically the reason he's brought in is because when they exiled the Doctor to Earth, they were like, we have two stories, and that's mad scientists or alien invasion. That's literally all we have. So we need to give him we need an equal, like a Moriarty. And
who's also exiled.
That's why he's like, you're also stuck here now.
Exactly.
He's exiled.
He just keeps. It's always funny because he keeps turning up as a surprise, like, oh yeah, I can't believe it's him again. And he does it until
he's rented that bus again,
and then the actor dies in a car crash. Before they do the final master story.
Oh man!
So they were going to do they were going to do a big sort of big showdown, and that never happened.
Oh,
do they just keep? Is he just not back?
So yeah, he
recast him.
No, he disappears until the Tom Baker era, and then he comes back as a sort of burnt up corpse. Which now that I say it out loud.
No, that's
Jesus Christ!
No, it's nice that he got one more.
He's all messed up, and then eventually he steals a body, and then he becomes the master that we get
the worst
in the
master.
80s.
Oh.
Now, stop me if the BBC
steals a body.
Legal team are about to descend on me for saying so, but is there a chance that the writers realized we can't budget this last episode? Does anyone own a high ace fan that they can drive mad fast into this guy?
They got Terry Walsh and they got the stunt team.
It's like we tried to stop him. I mean, we were joking around, but once he had the idea in his head, he was like, "I'm going to fucking
smashed into the car, jumped out, chucked himself down a hill."
That's why when we did.
I want to do that.
Was it him in the? Was it him that in the cookbook when we were doing the cookbook video? One of the recipes we looked at, or certainly I don't think it's in the video, but looked at one of the recipes of, and it was his wife.
Oh yeah,
or something that gave
the Bad Master's wife.
Bad Master's wife.
Bad Master's good wife.
What was a recipe?
There was
it's a big bowl.
I was like imagining reading one done by the stuntman, and it's rolling an egg down a big hill of cress.
I suppose. I mean, you just made me think of it now, Richie. I don't know if we mentioned it the last time we did, or if it's been since then. But for anyone who really loves this podcast and loves the four of us talking about Doctor Who, there's a video on YouTube of the four of us.
All right. Well, thanks very much for listening, everyone.
Making meals from the Doctor Who cookbook.
From the Gary Downey Doctor Who cookbook on Owen's YouTube channel, The Infinite Review.
Check it out.
A lot of fun.
A great day. Of fun.
I got a free scarf.
I'm dressed as what's his name? John Entwistle.
Eggleston.
Yep. So I was Tom Baker. Richie was Colin Baker. Incredible.
You see us all dressed as Doctor Who's.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 Doctor Who's.
4 Doctor Who's. That's what you need. The 4 Doctors.
The 4 Doctor Who's.
So what?
If the listener has half as much fun as we do,
no.
But unfortunately,
and on that bombshell, will you come back?
Absolutely, Richie. This is the most fun I have all year.
Ever had. Yeah.
I know.
Can I ask you just as a favour though?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's like I don't like. You know me. I like a laugh, but I don't like being made a fool of.
Okay.
And I came up with the best Doctor Who. I hate Doctor Who sign off, which is "I'll see you, hater." And I've never heard you use it once, and I'd love it if you could just use the sign off.
Say that
okay, listeners. I'll see you, hater.
I didn't
like who hater or you hater?
I didn't like that coming the way you did it.
I'll see who hater.
I'll see who haters.
I'll see who hater. That's even better. I'll see who hater.
No, with a lot of you're on ITV2.
It has to sound
and
like
it's
you're
the
trying to
end of the
say,
show.
I'll see you later, but then something gets caught in your throat and you just wheeze a cough out. I'll see who hates
I'll see you later.
But still doing later.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Hopefully I will cough. You just said, I'll see you, and then coughed and just said,
oh, no, I'm sorry.
And now he's stuck here on Earth.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Think you'll turn up again, Doctor?
Bound to.
You don't seem very worried about it.
I'm not. As a matter of fact, Joe, I'm rather looking forward to it.